When this book finds you, the universe begins to serve you. Full audiobook, the book that discovered you. Introduction. There are times in life when something reaches for you before you reach for it. This is one of them. Feel the quiet. Pull inside your chest, as if an ancient memory were awakening. You did not come across this by chance. Something older than thought, wiser than time, put this book in your hands. Pay close attention now. The universe moves on purpose, and tonight it has chosen to address you directly. Your narrative contains a door that has been waiting to be opened, a threshold that only appears when you are about to cross it. You may not feel ready. You may still have doubts. You may still be carrying the weight of unresolved questions. However, preparation does not always translate into confidence. It feels like longing. It feels like a subtle longing for something bigger. And that anguish is a compass that has guided you here, to these words, to this moment of awakening. Somewhere beyond your consciousness, an inner signal has been asking for change, a shift, a renewal, a recall. You may have ignored it, silenced it, or attempted to avoid it, yet it appears again, soaring above the din of your life, hinting that there is more for you than you have accepted. This introduction is not the beginning of a book. It is the return of your soul's vibration. I am calling you back home. Every soul undergoes an initiation, a hallowed moment when the outside world fades away and the inner world emerges. You are currently entering yours while listening. Consider the universe creeping closer, forming a circle of protection and revelation around you. The air shifts and the energy intensifies. Something within you recognizes this vibration. Something within you remembers. You were supposed to hear these words exactly when you did. Be aware if your life has been weighty, hectic, or confused. You're not lost. You are being recalibrated, not punished, not delayed, redirected, prepared. You are standing on the brink of a new timeline, one in which your strength, intuition, and destiny emerge from years of doubt and amnesia. This book is not intended to teach you who you should become. It is here to remind you of who you always were. So take it easy when breathing. Allow your shoulders to soften. Allow the mind to become silent. You were led here for a reason that will be revealed shortly. You're not late. You're not behind. You are exactly on time, in sync with the universe's whisper and the memory of your own becoming. The adventure begins today, with you accepting the call that brought you here. Chapter 1. This is exactly when you should have found it. Every seeker's journey comes to an end at some point. When something arrives with quiet certainty, as if it's been circling your life for years, waiting for the precise moment when you would be ready to receive it. This is the moment. Feel the subtle alignment building around you, like unseen threads tightening into place. There is nothing random about this experience. You were drawn here by a deeper river that has guided you all along. Perhaps you felt a tug without knowing why, an instinct that prompted you to halt, click, open, or listen. These minor movements are not accidents, but rather gentle invites from a world that speaks in synchronicity rather than phrases. It speaks through timing, nudges, and improbable occurrences that occur with perfect precision. Take a moment to reflect on how many small decisions brought you to this point. Each of them had a purpose, even the ones that seem like mistakes. When the cosmos wants to reach you, it does not shout. It orchestrates. It arranges patterns, redirects your steps, and places some truths right in your path. You may not identify the signals at first. However, they form a constellation around your awareness. And now, when you listen, something within you understands the timing. Not in your head, but in your memory. The soul has its own clock, and it does not follow human hours or fears. If a part of you is wondering why this happened to you, take a deep breath and consider it. There was an internal shift. Subtle but real. That unlocked a portal that only you could use. Perhaps it was fatigue from repeating the same pattern. Maybe there was a sudden desire for clarity. Perhaps it was a calm realization that something needed to change. Whatever it was, the frequency caused a match. During that match, this chapter showed itself to you. Imagine this as a key spinning in an ancient lock, one you didn't realize you were carrying. A lock composed of ancient beliefs, forgotten dreams, and layers of skepticism accumulated over time. However, the key now fits since you have shifted. You've expanded. You have matured into the version of yourself that can receive this message. Even if you doubt it, trust the part of you that listens beyond the mind. It understands the truth behind this alignment. Many people feel lost before receiving a word intended for them. Clarity is frequently preceded by confusion. You might have carried fear, frustration, or the nagging suspicion that life was preparing you for something unknown. That feeling was not emptiness. It was a preparation. You were not drifting aimlessly. You were being steered toward a frequency that could meet you exactly where you are. That vibration is what you are hearing right now. Allow your consciousness to slowly expand into the potential that this is a turning point, not spectacular or explosive, but genuinely real. A gentle change inside the spirals of your chronology when new possibilities begin to emerge. When a book finds you at the proper time, it does more than just instruct. It becomes active. It reminds you the quieter side of yourself. It urges you to enter the current that has always borne your name. So, when this first chapter settles into your energies, feel the awakening start. Feel the recognition rise like dawn behind your ribs. You were destined to find these words in this particular season of your development, not earlier or later. Now, the universe delivers what is in alignment, not what is rushed. And with this alignment, a new road opens up, one that leads within rather than forward, where your real direction has patiently waited for you to arrive. The second chapter is titled The Call of the Soul. Before the mind can comprehend, the soul begins to stir. Its whispers travel in unexpected ways. A sudden heaviness in regions that were once comfortable. An unexplainable need, a sense that existence is attempting to communicate with you from beneath the surface. These aren't random sensations. They are messages from the deepest part of you, reaching upward like a pathway, seeking light, and inviting you to return to the road you were always destined to go. You could recall times when something inside you gently tugged, hinting that there was more. Even when everything seemed okay on the surface, those nudges were not doubts. These were instructions. The soul does not communicate with dread or urgency. It communicates by subtle understanding, the sensation of being drawn to something you cannot yet describe. When the calling starts, it's quiet yet persistent, a vibration that you experience before you understand. This calling is often most obvious during times of discomfort. When things in your life no longer fit, when habitual routines start to feel hollow, when you realize that the life you created no longer fulfills you. Such times are mistaken for breakdowns, but they are actually invites. The soul uses emptiness to make room and dissatisfaction to open new doors. Pain becomes a candle, illuminating what cannot be ignored. Remember when you knew something was correct for you, even when it didn't make sense. You knew without proof, explanation, or approval. That knowing was your soul's truest expression. It has always led you, long before there were words to describe intuition or destiny. And now, as you listen to my words, that same inner voice emerges again, ready to guide you through the next growth. The ego seeks safety and predictability, the familiar, but the soul desires expansion and depth, alignment. This is why they frequently pull in opposite directions. When your soul calls, you may feel caught between who you were and who you are becoming. The tension is sacrosanct. It signifies that your old identity is slipping away, allowing a better version of yourself to develop, one shaped by truth rather than fear. If you've been restless lately or unusually sensitive to symbols and signs, realize that this is part of the calling. The cosmos communicates through repetition, dreams, and chance encounters that appear planned. When you are destined to change everything, you become a messenger. Even stillness becomes meaningful. The calling grows stronger until it becomes impossible to ignore, pressing you to transform. Allow yourself to accept that this book is not a solution, but rather a response to the frequency you've been radiating and the desire that has been rising within you. You asked, even if you weren't aware you were asking, not in words, but with energy. The cosmos responded by putting this guidance in your path. You are not hearing this by chance. You hear it because your soul has been requesting to be heard. So let this chapter awaken the truth within you. You have not wandered aimlessly. You've been listening, sensing, and preparing. The beckoning of your soul is not a demand. It's an invitation to recall who you are behind the clamor of expectations. Follow its pull carefully. Trust the beat. It brought you here for a reason. What happens next will reveal the profundity of the journey. You are finally ready to claim the Chapter 3 indications you have been shown. There are times when life appears to move in an unseen rhythm, organizing events and interactions with inconceivable accuracy. These aren't coincidences. They are communicating. The universe rarely employs words. Instead, it communicates continually through patterns, symbolism, timing, and repetition. Something that appears repeatedly is not random. It is counsel that gently illuminates the next step on your path, waiting for you to discover its significance. You may recall seeing the same figures repeated, hearing the same sentence said in different voices, or coming across the same idea from multiple directions. These echoes establish a trail, each pointing to what your soul is eager to learn. Most people reject these patterns as random, yet chance does not repeat itself with aim. The universe is subtle, but not quiet, and the more you pay attention, the more distinct the whispers become. Consider how frequently a song found you at the right time, bringing a message you didn't realize you needed, or how a stranger said something that touched your heart with unimaginable clarity, or how you felt drawn to someone, somewhere, or something without knowing why. These moments appear minor, yet have a huge influence. They serve as reminders that you are being guided with greater gentleness and consistency than you realize. Consider how many times you ignored a sign and then regretted it. The tiny inner nudge, that silent pause, that weird sense of déjà vu. These were not fear-based warnings. They were intuitive directions. When energy aligns, it communicates via sensation rather than intellect. And despite the mind's arguments, the body always knows the truth. You've been guided before, even when you doubted your feelings. When the universe wants your attention, it will arrange for synchronicity until you eventually take a moment to listen. It is possible that you will receive the identical message from multiple persons. It can draw your attention to the same symbol. It may even eliminate something from your life to make room for what you've been avoiding. Guidance does not always feel soft, but it is always intentional. Every sign serves as an invitation rather than a requirement. Some indicators appear like opportunities that come at the best time to be passed up. Others appear as roadblocks designed to redirect you. The cosmos talks in both blessings and obstacles, influencing your path through what it offers and takes away. When you go from frustrated to curious, the meaning becomes obvious. Every sign has a function. Every alignment contains a message. You've been guided more deeply than you realize. Allow yourself to accept the notion that guidance is already all around you. Slow down your breathing. Expand your consciousness. Take note of what happens repeatedly. Something feels strange. What draws your attention without justification? These are the portals via which the universe reaches you. When you begin to listen with presence rather than pressure, the indicators become clear, creating a map that only you can interpret. And now, as you read this chapter, sense the truth and tune into your intuition. You are not roaming in the dark. You are wandering through a constellation of messages created just for you. The signs have been there all along. This book is just another one. Clearer, louder, more aligned. The universe has spoken. You're finally listening. Chapter 4. You're not lost, just rerouted. There comes a point in every journey when the route you trusted crumbles beneath you. What was once apparent becomes ambiguous, and you might think you've taken a wrong turn. But the truth is much softer, deeper, and more sympathetic than that. You're not lost. You are being led down a route that you could not have discovered by staying where you were. Redirection is frequently camouflaged as confusion. Consider the times when you felt like you were about to fall because something you relied on slipped from your grasp. At the moment, it could have felt like failure, as if the cosmos was turning its back on you. But here you are, still breathing and searching, still capable of increasing. The fact that you are listening now indicates that those losses did not end. They were mild pushes away from what couldn't help you move forward. Life has a way of closing doors on purpose, even if the reason isn't immediately apparent. A relationship ends. A plan fails. An opportunity passes. In the void that remains, a new direction emerges softly. Redirection rarely brings clarity. It comes with a subliminal invitation to trust that the cosmos will not eliminate something without preparing something to replace it, even if the replacement is yet to be seen. There may have been evenings when you questioned everything, including your decisions, timing, and worth. However, uncertainty is not confirmation of misalignment. It is an indication that your old self is disintegrating, allowing your higher self to take over. When the familiar becomes unpleasant, it means that your soul has outgrown the space where you once dwelt. You require expansion, and expansion frequently starts with agony. Take a gentle look back and note the trends. The scenarios that ended were already depleting your vitality. The closed doors were not meant to be walked through. The ones who departed did not agree with the future version of you. Redirection kept you away from paths that would have darkened your spirit. What felt like loss was actually protection, guiding you toward a time when you can finally ascend. Every reroute in your life conveys a hidden message, this way and not that way. The cosmos sometimes gently adjusts your path, while other times it intervenes aggressively, pushing you to let go of what you were trying to hold on to. Do not mistake our intervention for punishment. It is an act of alignment. As you travel forward, you are being sculpted, refined, and positioned for something more aligned with the truth of your soul. Allow yourself to trust allow your shoulders to relax as you reflect on how each detour was divinely arranged not to delay your destiny, but to bring you into greater alignment with it. Life understands where you belong. It understands what you're prepared for and what you're not. Trust that its redirections are invitations to something deeper, more resonant, or more personal. And now, while you come to terms with this chapter, allow yourself to believe that nothing went wrong. You did not squander time. You did not miss your calling. You've simply been relocated to the timeline intended for your expansion. Every step, including the confusing ones, has led you here. You were never lost. You were being shown the route home. Chapter 5. The Power of Presence. Every moment contains a doorway, a silent threshold that can be crossed once your attention is fully focused on the present. Most people rush past it, preoccupied with recollections of yesterday or concerns about tomorrow. However, at the present instant, any shift is possible. When you anchor yourself here, even for a brief moment, you reconnect with a field of clarity that has been waiting for you to slow down and listen. Life gets weighty when the mind is carrying too many timelines at once. Regret pulls you backwards. Anxiety drives you ahead. Presence welcomes you home. When you breathe deeply and allow your awareness to settle into this precise moment, you collect your scattered energy. You are made complete again in this totality. The cosmos can finally communicate with you since presence is the language it speaks most clearly. Consider how many replies you may have missed simply because your thoughts was too loud to hear. Solutions frequently hide in stillness, in the gap between thoughts and tranquility. You rarely grant yourself permission to enter. When you lessen your focus and allow yourself to be, even for a few moments, advice emerges organically. Presence isn't passive. It is responsive. It opens you up to insight that is already waiting to be accepted. Try it now. Inhale gently. Exhale even slowly, allowing the rumbling inside you to fade. Notice how your awareness improves. Notice how your body feels lighter. This is the shift that alters everything. Returning to your breath allows you to reconnect with yourself. And when you return to yourself, you resume the frequency of alignment. The universe finds you where you are actually present, not where you are mentally disorganized. Many people seek signs, answers, and manifestations, unaware that their energy is too chaotic to receive them. Presence acts as a stabilizer. It is a removal of internal static. It is the point at which the subconscious gatekeeper relaxes, allowing new patterns to emerge. When you are fully present, your wants feel closer, as if they've been waiting in the doorway for you to return. Consider how frequently your intuition spoke softly, but was drowned out by fears of what might go wrong. Presence does not remove obstacles. Rather, it allows you to reach the part of yourself that can deal with them clearly in the present. Fear lacks momentum in the present. You stop repeating past stories in the present. You remember that you are stronger than the delusions that formerly overpowered you. The cosmos responds to calm awareness rather than frenetic striving. When you slow down enough to feel your own energy, you'll notice subtle shifts, signals, and invites. This is why miracles frequently occur when you least expect them, because expectation closes the mind while present expands it. The more you focus on the present moment, the clearer the way ahead becomes. As this chapter settles into your energy, allow the truth to echo through you. Presence serves as the gateway to flow, the secret to unlocking intuition, the link between desire and manifestation. You don't have to control the future. You simply need to return to this breath, heartbeat, and instant. Everything you desire becomes obvious when you stop fleeing the present moment and instead learn to live in it. Chapter 6. Energy never lies. From the time you step into a room, your energy communicates before your voice does. It conveys your views, feelings, and unsaid stories. It radiates what you've been holding onto and avoiding. Even if your words try to cover the truth, your frequency discloses it with complete honesty. This is why the cosmos responds not to what you say you want, but to the consistent energy you emit. Have you ever pondered why some patterns repeat? Pay special attention to the vibration beneath your ideas. Fear transmits its own signal. So does joy. Doubt exists as well. So does self-trust. Energy is a language of creation, which you are continually transmitting. When you desire something but emit the frequency of disbelief, the universe reflects the disbelief rather than the desire. You don't get what you desire for. You attract what you exemplify. Consider times when you met someone and knew what they were up to before saying anything. That instinct is your internal compass, responding to vibrations. You do the same with experiences, opportunities, and deadlines. Your energy attracts like a magnet, situations that reflect your internal state. This isn't punishment. It is a reflection. The universe mirrors your frequency precisely. When your inner environment is cluttered with past hurt or repeated fear, your desires become entangled. You could ask for love while expecting abandonment. You can pray for abundance while holding the scarcity, and the cosmos, which is impartial and sensitive, will send back whatever matches the deepest signal. This is why being honest with yourself is important. Emotional clarity leads to energy clarity, which is what reshapes your world. Everything changes when you start analyzing your inner patterns without guilt. Noticing the dread does not make it stronger. Denying it does. When you allow yourself to experience what arises without collapsing into it, your energy begins to loosen. Your field becomes more fluid, receptive, and aligned. Healing is just a process of removing frequencies that no longer correspond to future. You're phoning in. Your energy becomes magnetic when your emotions, beliefs, and intentions all coincide. This is the essence of internal congruence. When you believe you deserve better, you stop pursuing what depletes you. When you feel deserving of your desires, you cease dimming your light. When you believe your intuition, you stop hiding your reality. And in that state, your vibration naturally transforms into coherence. Take a time to sense the field around you. Feel the soft hum of your presence. Observe how your breath affects your energy, how your ideas influence your aura, how a single intention may ground your entire being. You are not powerless in this situation. You are the conductor of your own frequency. With each decision, thought, and emotion, you form the timeline that follows. As this chapter sinks in, recall the sentence chanted in esoteric temples long before these words reached you. It is not your views, but your agreement with them. When your agreement shifts, so does your energy. When you change your energy, the universe adjusts with you. Now, fully trust this reality. Energy never lies, and it is always guiding you to your most aligned state. Chapter 7. From Victims to Creators. Every awakening has a defining moment when you understand life isn't just occurring to you, it's happening through you. This transition appears mild at first, like a calm awareness emerging beneath old stories. But when it arrives, everything starts to alter. You begin to notice how your reactions influence results, how your ideas color your reality, and how your beliefs set the tone for each event. Power returns when responsibility begins. Many people are stuck in the why me narrative, believing that circumstances influence their future. But the cosmos isn't founded on blame. It is designed around resonance. When you perceive yourself as powerless, your energy mirrors a helplessness. Life then reflects the contraction of that idea. However, when you choose to observe rather than collapse, or to respond rather than react, your frequency changes. During that transformation, your reality begins to transform alongside you. Consider how frequently you surrender your control to situations, people, or fears. You were never taught any other way, therefore you did it unintentionally. The victim attitude becomes a default script, which is repeated until it feels true. But underlying the narrative comes a deeper understanding. You have the ability to shape your own path. You are capable of making different choices. You are capable of overcoming the patterns that once characterized you. When you choose to embrace your position as a creator, the cosmos responds most powerfully. This does not imply dismissing pain or pretending everything is fine. It entails choosing to view your events through a prism of growth rather than defeat. When asked, "What is this teaching me?" Instead, "Why is this occurring to me?" The entire timeline shifted. Challenges become catalysts. Obstacles turn into portals. With each minor decision, you regain power. The decision to take a breath before reacting, to speak truth rather than fear, to establish a limit rather than shrinking. Take responsibility for your own energy. These decisions may appear minor, yet they significantly impact your field. They emit a new signal that reads, "I am awake. I am present. I am an active participant in my own world." The cosmos responds to that declaration with more opportunities and better guidance. Remember when you altered your mindset and quickly changed the outcome? Or when you overcame an old habit and felt something inside yourself strengthen? These weren't coincidences. They were evidence of your inventive abilities. Even in your darkest moments, you have shaped your next chapter by your interpretation of the situation. You possess greater power than you imagined. Take a deep breath and feel the shift happening within you. You are not here to be tossed around by circumstances or entangled in past events. You are here to use your energy with purpose, to design your existence via alignment, and to collaborate with the intellect that flows through the universe. This is your invitation to regain something that was never fully lost: your agency, vision, and inner authority. As you allow these words to settle into your consciousness, allow the truth to resound softly but forcefully. You are not the victim of your tale. You are in control of who you become. The moment you decide to claim your energy, your life begins to change. Step into reality right now. Step into the role your soul has been preparing you for. You are the creator, and the next chapter begins with that. Remembering. Before we continue, I have something special for you. We recently published a new ebook that delves further into the advice you're hearing right now. If you wish to go deeper into these teachings, the link is in the video's first pinned comment. Take a time to check it out. You will not regret it. Now let us return to the audiobook. Chapter 8. Trusting the Unknown. Every true transformation begins where clarity has yet to arrive. The unknown appears before you as a wide, unmarked horizon. The mind naturally attempts to fill it with terror. However, the unknown is not emptiness. There is possibility. It is in this gap that the cosmos performs its most delicate work, influencing consequences beyond what your limited viewpoint might predict. To trust the unknown means to believe that something wiser is walking beside you. You may have spent years attempting to control every consequence, believing that safety comes from assurance. But certainty frequently traps you in repetition. Growth requires something distinct. It calls for surrender, for letting go of your control over how things should unfold. When you allow life to flow without forcing it, you create space for possibilities far bigger than those your imagination rehearsed. Trust is a link between intention and manifestation. Consider the times you leaped without a clear landing and found yourself supported, or when preparations fell apart, only to be replaced with something better. These memories are not accidental. These are reminders. The unknown has gripped you before, even while you weren't aware of it. The universe does not lead you into darkness without providing light along the way. Light can only be seen once. You take the first step. Often, the fear of losing control keeps you stuck. But control is an illusion that the mind relies on for comfort. Real power comes from awareness, not manipulation. When you let go of the impulse to control outcomes, your energy softens. Your nervous system settles. Your intuition improves. You begin to notice subtle indications that you previously disregarded. The unknown becomes less terrifying and more appealing, like a portal to your next growth. Life will constantly ask you to choose trust before comfort. It will prompt you to let go of something familiar, to make way for something aligned. This discussion is sacred. The universe cannot give you what you truly want if your hands are full of what you have outgrown. Trusting the unknown does not imply mindless faith. It means choosing trust over fear, choosing growth above stagnation, choosing possibilities over limitations. Only when you stop attempting to forecast the way will knowledge emerge. Allowing the mystery to exist strengthens your inner direction. You start to feel drawn rather than pushed. You start to feel where your energy wants to go, not where your fear wants to hide. The unknown becomes a friend, not an adversary, a companion, not a threat. A field of limitless possibilities ready to be formed by your beliefs. Try it now. Consider standing on the outskirts of a large field of possibility. Every direction leads to something worthwhile, even if you cannot see your destination. Feel your breath steady as you open the potential. The intellect loves guarantees, whereas the spirit prefers freedom. And freedom exists in the unknown. Freedom grows when you stop wanting assurance and instead trust a rhythm that is unfolding through you. As this chapter settles in your spirit, accept the fact that the unknown is not here to harm you. It is here to raise you, to stretch you into spaces where your previous identity could not go. Trusting it is a form of self-love, an act of bravery, an act of alignment. Let the mystery move you. Allow ambiguity to guide you. The unknown isn't a void. It is where your next miracle is already developing. Chapter 9, The Law of Alignment. There comes a point when you understand that wanting something isn't enough. Your energy must match the desire you have. Alignment is the unseen thread that connects purpose and manifestation. It is the alignment of your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. When even one of these is out of sync, the cosmos senses a discord. However, as they blend into coherence, your desires approach you with unexpected ease. Many people pursue outcomes while holding beliefs that contradict their goals. They ask for abundance while promoting scarcity. They fantasize of love but expect to be disappointed. They pray for change while acting as if nothing will improve. This inherent division reduces their signal. In contrast, alignment enhances it. It elevates your request from a whisper to a beacon that the cosmos can't ignore. Consider alignment as your soul's true north. When you act with sincerity rather than conditioning, your energy becomes evident. When you prioritize what you truly want over what you believe you should want, your path straightens. When you stop settling for what drains your spirit, your field grows stronger. The cosmos responds to vibration rather than the words you speak. You latently embody. Consider tuning an instrument. If even one string is out of tune, the entire music feels incorrect. Your inner world operates in the same way when your emotions contradict your affirmations or your actions contradict your intentions. The energy gets boisterous. Alignment necessitates honesty, presence, and boldness. Not perfect, just the truth. When you stop faking and start addressing your own needs, harmony returns. Every awakening comes with a realization that your aspirations are not random. They are directional. They point to the direction your soul intends to take, but you must first align with its frequency. This entails allowing joy rather than opposing it, allowing worth rather than doubting it, and allowing possibility rather than withdrawing from it. Alignment is a habit of remembering your true identity despite doubt. When you are aligned with what you want, you begin to make decisions that favor its realization. You take inspired, rather than forced, steps. You chose expansion over fear. You speak and move as if your desire is already on its way to you. This incarnation alters your field. You stop hoping and begin becoming. The cosmos responds more quickly to being than to begging. Becoming is the highest level of alignment. Try this simple inquiry. Does this thought, emotion, or behavior reflect the version of myself I'm becoming? If the answer is no, you found a point of mismatch, and every point of misalignment is an opportunity for transformation. Small changes result in significant alterations. There is no need for turmoil when aligning. It necessitates constancy, clarity, and a commitment to living in truth rather than habit. Feel the gradual recalibration that occurs within you as you allow these words to integrate. Alignment does not imply forcing the universe to deliver. It is about getting yourself ready to receive. It is a skill of achieving energetic integrity, in which your inner state reflects the life you desire. Walk forth with that certainty right now. Allow your energy to be the signal that directs your new reality into being. Chapter 10. Letting go. To allow in. Holding on gets heavier than releasing. The mind clings to its habits and fears, out of the notion that control will keep you secure. But the soul understands better. It recognizes that release. Make space for the new. It understands that what is meant for you will never need to be held. Letting go does not imply loss. It is an opening, a release of old energy, allowing the next chapter to breathe. You might have held particular individuals, memories, or expectations close because they once provided comfort. However, comfort might lead to captivity. The world cannot pour new benefits into clenched hands that have already fulfilled their mission. Some ends arrive not to punish you, but to guide you toward wholeness. When you let go of what no longer aligns, you can feel your own energy grow anew. Consider how nature releases effortlessly. Trees let go of their leaves without mourning the branches they previously graced. Rivers let go of every drop that passes through them. The sky lets go of storms. Once the lesson in them has been completed, you are formed with the same intelligence. Clinging is a learned behavior. The release is natural. When you get back to that natural rhythm, your spirit feels lighter, clearer, and more open to possibilities. Letting go does not necessarily require physical separation. Sometimes it requires letting go of an identity, a belief, or a plot that has limited you. It entails no longer living the past as if it defined you. It entails allowing yourself to evolve beyond the version of you that learned survival, rather than expansion. Release is an interior act, and once completed, the outside adjustments occur with calm inevitability. Even if you know the release is appropriate, you may experience grief during the process. Grief is simply the echoes of relationship dissolution. Don't be afraid of it. Allow it to pass through you like a purifying wave. You allow every tear to fall. Create space for a greater truth to emerge. You are not meant to bear the burden of outmoded stories. You are intended to evolve through them and return to your true frequency. When you let go of what drains you, your energy attracts what raises you. This is a paradox. You get more when you quit clutching. You rise when you quit resisting. You become responsive once you cease defending. The universe is moving toward openness, not tension. When your hands, heart, and mind relax, life can finally give you what you've been seeking for all along. Try muttering it to yourself. I release what is completed. Feel how your body responds. Notice the softening, shift, and slight freedom that occurs after those words. Your energy understands the reality before your head does. Release is not a loss-causing action. It is an act of alignment. When you let go, you will return to your center. And from there, everything flows more smoothly. As you become aware of this chapter, trust the wisdom that is rising inside you. You have not abandoned anything. You're making room. You are acknowledging your progress. You respect your destiny. Letting go connects the life you've known to the life that calls your name. Step gracefully onto that bridge. What is intended will find you. What is not will go away. And both results represent acts of love. Chapter 11. The universe is listening. There are truths. You talk aloud. There are some facts that you only tell yourself. But both are heard. Each intention you establish, every desire you have, every fear you relive, it becomes part of the frequency that you radiate. The universe reacts to that frequency like an echo, returning the energy you sent forth. You're not calling into empty. You are always conversing with creation, whether you recognize it or not. You may believe your ideas are private, but your energy is not. When you feel hope, your field becomes brighter. When you feel defeated, your field contracts. When you speak clearly, your signal becomes sharper. This is why honesty is important, not for moral purposes, but for resonance. The cosmos doesn't expect you to be perfect. It requires you to be authentic. Even when it is messy, your truth has a clearer resonance than contrived positivity. Consider the moments when you felt a sudden alignment after journaling, praying, or discussing your fears out. That was no coincidence. It was an enthusiastic release. When you externalize your inner reality, the universe has something to react to. Intention is a sort of direction. It directs where life should flow. When your intentions are unclear, life wanders. When you have clear intentions, life aligns itself around them. Most people forget that the world listens not just to their requests, but also to their emotional beliefs. If you pray for peace but expect mayhem, the expectation will prevail. If you beg for love but are afraid of being abandoned, the fear will become your signal. If you ask for abundance while believing you are unworthy, the belief becomes more powerful. The universe does not pass judgment. It reflects consistent vibrations. This is why internal dialogue is important. The way you speak to yourself determines the structure of your energy. Words are more than just language. They represent frequency. When you tell yourself you're capable, something inside rises. When you convince yourself you are unworthy, something contracts. The universe hears both. It listens to the tone underneath the thinking, the passion beneath the request, and the belief beneath the want. To strengthen this link, treat the universe as a collaborator, not as a remote force. Share your dreams with it. Share your fears. Express your gratitude. Speak openly what you are prepared to claim. Write down what you're ready to let go of. Whisper the facts you're terrified to admit. When you talk openly, your energy aligns with your intentions, and the universe acts accordingly, organizing opportunities with calm precision. Try pausing for a bit. Place your palm on your heart and allow one intention to rise to the surface. Do not force it. Allow it to appear softly. Feel its weight, tone, and emotion. This aim is a message that goes beyond language, straight into the field surrounding you. The universe has already received it. What matters now is your willingness to believe in the dialogue as this chapter takes root within you. Remember this. You are not unheard. Every silent prayer, longing, and hope has been felt by the intelligence that runs through whatever you're doing with a power that listens, responds, and aligns. Speak clearly. Intend courageously. Feel openly. The universe is listening, as it always has been. Chapter 12, Self-Worth, establishes a tone. Every desire you have is filtered through the lens of what you think you deserve. This reality is subtle but strong. Self-worth is more than just a feeling. It's a frequency. The internal thermostat controls what you accept, attract, and tolerate. When your worth is poor, your life contracts. When your worth increases, your life grows to match it. Everything starts with the way you see yourself. You may not realize how frequently you settle for less, not because it was all that was available, but because it was all you thought you could ask for. Patterns emerge around these ideas. You accept treatment based on your inner doubts. You seek opportunities that match your fears. You shrink to fit in situations that cannot accommodate your size. However, none of this was fate. It was about self-worth, casting a shadow over your possibilities. Consider occasions when you ultimately requested more. Even softly, something changed. The world around you has responded. Everyone treated you differently. Possibilities started to appear. That transition did not occur because life suddenly got generous. It happened because your energy shifted. When you increase your worthiness, the universe rebalances. It stops giving what no longer resonates and instead directs you toward what aligns with your higher self. Self-worth is not arrogance. It is remembering. It is a reminder that you are a vessel of consciousness worthy of love, peace, abundance, and harmony. It entails letting the truth of your existence to replace the stories you inherited from grief, upbringing, judgment, and comparison. Worthiness isn't earned. It was reclaimed. You can't lose what you're born with. You can only forget it. You may have had silent wounds that spoke lies about who you are. Wounds that prompted you to settle. Wounds that made you believe that suffering was noble. However, the cosmos never begged for your suffering. It begged for your openness, growth, and self-awareness. When you let go of the illusion that you must struggle to deserve joy, your entire frequency increases. Miracles are welcome among those who are worthy. Unworthiness repels them. Consider the discussions you have with yourself. Are they gentle or are they harsh? Do you encourage yourself or undermine your own spirit? Every mental dialogue becomes a signal. When you speak to yourself with compassion, you unlock the subconscious gates. When you constantly evaluate yourself, the gates close. Treat yourself as someone you adore, and your life will begin to reflect that love back to you. Try repeating gently in your head, I'm permitted to receive more. Feel how the words change your energy. Feel a little enlargement in your chest. Feel the resistance, loosening. These phrases are not only affirmations. These are frequency codes. They reawaken buried soul memories and remind you of your innate worth as you utter them. You shift timelines, moving toward the reality characterized by acceptance rather than skepticism. Allow this chapter to softly settle into your heart. You deserve the life you want, not because you worked hard for it, but because your mere presence is sufficient. When you recognize your worth, the universe aligns with your memory. Raise your self-worth, and the world will rise to meet it. You're worthy now. You are deserving. Then you will always be deserving. Your life will change as you come to believe it. Chapter 13. Receiving is an art. There comes a point in any trip when you understand that asking is only half of the issue. The other half is allowing. Many individuals pray, manifest, and envision, but inadvertently resist the benefits they seek. Receiving isn't passive. It's an energizing openness, a loosening of the grip on old worries and expectations. When you learn to receive, you move from scarcity to flow. You create space for the cosmos to move toward you. Frequently, the barriers of receiving are quiet and unconscious. Guilt suggests that you do not deserve nice things. Habit persuades you to overgive in the hope that merit will be achieved. Fear cautions that accepting too much will result in disappointment. These beliefs form walls around the heart. Preventing blessings from entering the universe could result in opportunities. But if your hands are closed, nothing will land. Receiving necessitates trust in your own sufficiency. Consider how life has helped you in the past. Perhaps it was a compliment, a gift, a chance, or a helping hand that you brushed aside. You may have said it was nothing. I am okay, or I do not want to worry anyone. However, each dismissal trained your energy to reject abundance. You communicated to the universe that you were not prepared to hold more, but you're currently learning a new pattern. Acceptance is viewed as a source of strength rather than weakness. Receiving begins with granting yourself permission. Permission to rest, permission to be loved, permission to receive aid, permission to enjoy what comes without doubting its authenticity. When you say yes to these small moments, you are training your brain to accept bigger benefits. The soul unfolds gradually, like a flower after a long winter, and once it opens, everything you've been calling in is about to arrive. Many people believe that accepting more makes them selfish. However, people who are satisfied are more likely to be generous. A depleted heart can overflow. A nourished heart shares easily. Allowing yourself to receive increases your ability to give from a place of authenticity rather than sacrifice. True generosity is not an attempt to win love. It is a natural expression of someone who already feels complete. Pay attention to the sensations in your own body. Does your chest constrict when you receive good news? Are you feeling unworthy? Do you wait for it to be taken away? These reactions show your relationship to receiving. Breathe into the feeling rather than pushing it aside. Allow your body to learn a new response. Instead of tensing up, be open. Curiosity rather than dread. This is how you restructure your energetic pathways. Try whispering this quietly inside. I allow nice things to come to me. Feel it reverberate across your field. Notice the warmth that follows, the subtle understanding that you have kept yourself from achieving your own potential. This sentence represents an activation. It reassures your inner gatekeeper that it is safe to expand, safe to welcome. It is safe to be supported. You were never meant to walk your path without food, as this chapter integrates into your being. Remember that receiving is a spiritual ability that activates your magnetic essence and connects you to riches. Stop fighting the gifts that come your way. Stop questioning the blessings that have been designed for your timeline. Open your hands, soften your heart, and let life to greet you. The universe cannot pour into a closed vessel, only into an open one. It pours eternally. Chapter 14. Your feelings are feedback. Every feeling you feel conveys a message, a delicate hint from within that something needs to be addressed, understood, or expressed. Feelings are not inconveniences that can be managed. They are guides. They show the truth behind your thoughts, the patterns that shape your conduct, and the requirements that drive your silence. When you learn to honor your emotions rather than ignore them, your inner world becomes clearer, calmer, and more balanced. You may have been trained to suppress your emotions, remain strong, move on swiftly, or keep everything inside. However, concealing emotion does not dissolve it. It stores it. It compresses it into your subconscious, influencing your behaviors and shaping your decisions in ways you don't even realize. Feelings that are not expressed transform into energy that seeks release through triggers, patterns, or abrupt waves of overwhelm. Consider anger to be a signal that a boundary has been violated, similar to sadness, not as a sign of weakness, but as an indication that something important requires attention or anxiety. Not as a shortcoming, but as an indication that a part of you feels unsafe or unheard. When you stop criticizing these feelings and begin to listen to them, you will have access to the wisdom they have been holding for you. Even joy provides feedback. It tells you what resonates with your spirit, what nourishes the soul, what gives you more energy when you follow the thread of joy. Your life unfolds more smoothly. Joy is not haphazard. It's directional. It directs you to situations, people, and decisions that increase your frequency. Learning to trust your joy is equally vital as learning to comprehend your pain. Most people fear their emotions because they assume that experiencing them will consume them. But emotions travel through you like the weather, moving and evolving. They only become storms when you oppose them. Allowing yourself to feel does not imply drowning in feeling. It observes the emotion with compassion, allowing it to rise and fall without attaching to its tail. Emotional intelligence awakens during this witnessing because sitting with your feelings creates space for healing. You become an observer rather than a reactor. This is where change starts. When you quit resisting your emotions, they lose their grasp. It softens when teaching. It exposes a truth without distortion. Every emotion becomes a gateway to greater self-awareness. When you face a situation with openness rather than dread, try pausing now and notice which feeling is closer to the surface. You do not need to alter it. Simply admit this. Apply careful awareness to it, as if you were holding a little flame in your palms. Ask it what it wants you to comprehend. Ask it what it requires. This simple act of acknowledgement transforms your energy, putting you in sync with your own inner rhythm. Allow the truth to deeply penetrate your consciousness as you read this chapter. Your emotions are not a problem. These are messages. They are your internal navigation system, directing you toward healing, clarity, and alignment. When you respect your emotions, you honor your soul. When you honor your soul, the universe reacts with synchronistic events that reflect your newfound self-awareness. Chapter 15. What you oppose endures. You've tried to run away from certain aspect of yourself. Old fears, buried memories, emotions you thought were too weighty to carry. However, no matter how far you go, they appear to circle back, appearing in new shapes, settings, and people. This isn't a curse. This is a call. What you resist does not disappear. It hovers on the outside of your awareness, waiting for recognition. Resistance gives the wound strength. Acceptance dissolves it. You may have seen how the precise habits you strive to avoid continue to manifest in the relationship dynamic. You promised you were done with insecurity. You believed you buried the terror you attempted to suppress. These repetitions are not failures. These are invitations. The cosmos repeats what you refuse to confront, not to punish, but to set you free. Healing begins when you stop pushing the pain away. Imagine you're standing in front of a locked door. The more you push on it, the heavier it feels. However, taking a step back and softening your position allows the door to open inward. Your inner world functions in the same way. The strain you carry from old wounds restricts your energies. It shuts down your nervous system. It enhances dread. However, as you relax and approach the discomfort with curiosity rather than judgment, everything begins to change. Avoidance generates friction, except that it produces flow. This does not imply that you should appreciate the discomfort or encourage misery. It just means accepting the emotion without denial. When you fail to confront your grief, it follows you wherever you go. When you eventually turn toward it, you let go of the weight you never needed to carry. Healing is not a confrontation. It is compassion for the parts of you that hurt. Consider the times when you eventually confronted something you feared, the relief that followed, the clarity that rose, the strength you didn't realize you have. Resistance kept you frozen, but acceptance set you free. The pain was never as intense as the stories around it. When the story ends, the wound breathes. When the wound breathes, it heals. This is a silent alchemy that changes your internal environment. Your emotions are not enemies. They're signals. They show where love is needed, where boundaries are lacking, where memories are unprocessed. When you resist them, they become louder. When you greet them, they soften. Resistance blinds you to the lesson. Acceptance reveals a reality. Every painful feeling conveys a message, and once understood, it no longer needs to be experienced with such intensity. Try this simple practice right now. Bring to mind something you have been avoiding. Instead of pushing it away, cultivate a gentle awareness around it. Breathe into the space it occupies. Ask it what it wants to show you. Ask it what it requires from you. This simple transition from resistance to witnessing allows healing energies to flow into your field. The subconscious gatekeeper relaxes. The terror fades as this chapter becomes ingrained in your spirit. Accept this fact with kindness. What you resist persists, while what you encounter changes. You're not frail. You are capable of meeting your shadows gracefully. When you finally confront what scares you, you regain aspects of yourself that have been waiting for your return. And in that reclamation, you become a more complete, freer version of yourself. Chapter 16. Intuition is your superpower. Within you is a compass unaffected by logic, a calm wisdom that recognizes truth before your intellect can define it. This inner knowing has spoken to you in periods of calm, doubt, and even terror. Intuition is not a gift that only a few possess. It is a natural instinct, a soul signal that directs you toward alignment. When you learn to trust it, you get access to a type of wisdom that can only be remembered rather than taught. There have been instances when you felt an unexplainable pull toward or away from something, and you later realize how right your instinct was. These weren't coincidences. They were confirmations of your internal lucidity. Intuition seldom yells. It manifests as a nudge, sensation, subtle warning, or silence. Yes, the ego expects evidence, yet intuition provides direction without explanation. Trusting it takes guts. Most people confuse intuition with fear, yet the two feel very different. Fear contracts. It tightens the chest, narrows the mind, and expands. It relaxes the body and increases consciousness. Fear predicts danger based on the past. Intuition indicates possibilities based on alignment. When you learn to distinguish between them, your path becomes more clear. You stop mistaking your wounds for knowledge and start hearing the actual voice behind the noise. Consider moments when you rejected your intuition and later regretted it. A relationship you entered despite warning indications. And an opportunity you passed up despite feeling compelled to accept. A circumstance you remained in even after your soul begged you to leave. These encounters were not unsuccessful. They were teachings about discernment. They improved your ability to identify your inner voice the next time it speaks. Intuition connects you to the quantum field, an invisible place where timelines and possibilities exist prior to their manifestation. It feels things your mind cannot yet perceive. It senses the frequency of people, places, and decisions. When you followed instructions, your life begins to unfold with almost mystical synchronicity. Doors open effortlessly. Answers arise, and pathways smooth themselves. This isn't luck. This is consistent with your deepest knowing. Your intuition grows stronger as you remain present. When your mind is racing, your inner direction becomes feeble. However, when you breathe deeply and return to the present moment, intuition grows. It appears in the gap between thoughts, in the pause before action, and in the calm beneath emotion. The more you listen, the louder it gets. The more you trust, the clearer the direction. Intuition grows via use, not avoidance. Try pausing and asking yourself a simple question, one that you do not overthink. Take note of the very first feeling or image that arises. Your intuition is the first hint of skepticism. It communicates immediately. It talks simply. It talks from the body, not the mind. Allow this simple technique to remind you of the wisdom you possess, the inner direction that has been awaiting your attention as this chapter settles into you. Remember this truth. Intuition is not a luxury. It's your birthright. It is your soul's voice in the path to your future. The thread that connects you to all aligned timelines. Honor it. Trust it. Let it guide you. You were not supposed to go through life blindly. You were granted an inner lighthouse that illuminates areas that your eyes cannot see. It has been leading you all along. Chapter 17. Healing is nonlinear. Healing does not occur in a straight line. It twists, curls, grows, and contracts, moving with an unpredictable beat. One day you may feel clear and open, and the next you may feel dragged back by feelings you thought you let go of. This is not a regression. This is integration. The soul does not rush. It revisits what has to be addressed until every part you feel safe enough to proceed. You may have become discouraged when old wounds returned, believing you were failing or reverting to old patterns. However, the rate at which you recover is not what defines recovery. It's determined by how softly you return to yourself. Each wave that returns brings new knowledge, perspective, and strength. You are not experiencing the same agony. You are approaching it with a higher level of awareness. Every time. Sometimes the light seems far away. Sometimes your heart is tired from carrying memories that never asked for your permission. Even on days when progress appears to be undetectable, something within you is altering. The body gradually remembers safety, like learning a new language. The mind gradually unravels previous ideas. The heart opens and closes, then opens again. Healing is a sacred unfoldment, not a show. Consider the times when you felt broken, only to realize later that those experiences were instructors. They shaped your resiliency. They reawaken compassion. They introduce you to aspects of yourself that you had forgotten. Healing is not about erasing suffering. It's about changing your relationship with it. When you grasp the message below the emotion, it loses its power. There will be days when you feel strong and aligned, and days when doubt creeps in like a shadow. Please do not pass judgment on these variations. They demonstrate that you are evolving. Growth necessitates time, relaxation, repetition, and tenderness. Every time you choose awareness over avoidance, you are strengthening the foundation for your transformation. The spiral returns you to familiar places, but not as the same person. Your triggers are not indicative of failure. They are markers of your soul's readiness to evolve. Next, when something deeply moves you, it is a call for presence, not shame. Sit with it. Breathe into it. Allow it to speak. What once seemed overwhelming may now feel manageable. Because you've changed. The wound may look the same, but you have grown wiser, more grounded, and more aware of your inner reality. Try laying your palm over your heart and whispering, "I am healing." Even if it doesn't appear so, feel the truth of those words sink into your body. Healing is a process rather than an outcome. It's a relationship with yourself. Some days you take the lead. Some days you rest. Both are sacred. Both are necessary. Allow the process to flow through you without requiring perfection. As this chapter sinks into your consciousness, enjoy the beauty of your non-linear trip. You are unfolding in divine time, not in human time. Nothing wrong with your pace. Nothing is out of order. Every stride forward, sideways, or seemingly backward contributes to the rebalancing of your spirit. Trust the spiral. Trust in the process. Trust yourself. Your healing is taking place in ways you can't yet see. Chapter 18. Relationships are mirrors. Every person who comes into your life reflects something back to you. Some hidden truths, some unhealed wounds, some dazzling potential. Relationships are not chance encounters. These are sacred exchanges. They demonstrate where you are linked and where you are divided. They expose what you cling to, what you fear, and how you have forgotten your own light. When you learn to see relationships as mirrors, you get a new level of self-awareness. Sometimes a reflection is soft, full of harmony, ease, and understanding. These ties remind you of your worth, kindness, and ability to connect. They show you which aspects of yourself have healed. Other reflections arise from disagreement, disappointment, or unmet expectations. These relationships aren't punishments. They highlight the wounds that still require attention, the beliefs that need to be dispelled, the limits that require reinforcement. Consider the persons that prompted your most intense feelings. Their presence triggered something unresolved. Perhaps they reawakened feelings of abandonment from your childhood or exposed tendencies you learnt years ago. This does not imply that they were supposed to stay permanently. Some mirrors are transitory yet necessary. They appear to reveal you what can no longer be hidden. When the lesson is revealed, the reflection may disappear. Even the most painful relationships remain, meaning the pain that shattered you revealed what you were settling for. The betrayal that damaged your trust. I taught you discernment. The growing gap between you and someone you care about pushed you to become more independent. Every connection, whether caring or demanding, has helped you evolve. Each one influenced the structure of your inner world. Relationships can reveal your patterns, how you communicate, retreat, defend yourself, and open yourself. When you see these patterns objectively, you reclaim your authority. You cease repeating cycles automatically. You learn to choose connections that support your growth rather than your hurts. You break out of previous patterns and enter connections that uplift your spirit rather than drain it. Consider times when someone spotted promise in you that you didn't recognize. Their belief became a reflection of your future self, or moments when someone's behavior felt familiar in ways you couldn't understand. That familiarity indicated a lesson being repeated. Relationships are teachers masquerading as companions, guide, challenges, or soul contracts. Their influence lasts long after the connection is lost. Consider viewing your current relationships through this lens. What is this individual teaching me about myself? Curiosity rather than blame. Are they reflecting my strength or insecurity? My yearning for more? My fear of losing? When you focus on these reflections, You gain a clearer understanding of yourself. You stop projecting, blaming, and start recognizing the deeper truth behind each contact. As the substance of this chapter sinks in, realize that you are also a mirror. You instill truth, wounds, hope, and transformation in those around you. You contribute to their progress just as much as they do to your own. Respect these discussions. Release what is complete. Cherish what is aligned and consider every link. The past, present, and future all serve as precious mirrors, asking you to recall who you truly are. Chapter 19. You're already whole. A peaceful truth lies beneath every layer of fear, uncertainty, and indoctrination. Nothing about you is missing. You arrived into this world full of wisdom, older than your body, and carrying brightness that no darkness could dim. Wholeness is not something you must achieve. It's the essence you started with. The goal of the voyage is not to reinvent oneself. It is about remembering who you always were. Beneath the cacophony, you may have spent years feeling that you were broken and needed to be fixed before you could soar. But brokenness is an illusion caused by comparison, rejection, and unmet expectations. The soul doesn't shatter. It hides. It retreats behind the layers of defense you created to survive. These layers were shields, not defects. They kept your tenderness until you were ready to regain it. Consider all the times you felt inadequate. The child who felt ignored. The youngster attempting to fit into contours that were not her own. The adults were looking for validation in places that could never supply it. These versions of yourself were never wanting. They are unconscious of their own genius. Each contained a bit of the truth you're recalling now. Your value was never negotiable. When you stop defining yourself by your scars, you have a better understanding of wholeness. A wound is not an identity, but rather an experience. It may have shaped you, but it does not define you. You are not the abandonment that occurred. You are not the failure that you dread. You are not defined by your faults. You are the consciousness that sprang from them. You represent the resilience that grew beneath them. You are the consciousness that has outlived them. Every bit of you belongs. Even those you've rejected. Fear once protected you. Anger that demanded boundaries. The grief that called for slumber. The longing that pointed to your destiny. These features are not difficult to eradicate. They are fragments of your wholeness, yearning to be accepted. Healing does not mean erasing your past. It is bringing every piece back together. Notice how your energy alters when you stop attempting to be worthy and instead remember that you already are. The body relaxes. The mind softens. The heart opens. When you walk with the belief that there's nothing wrong with you, you stop looking for external approval. You cease shrinking to meet the expectations of others. You begin making choices based on sincerity rather than approval. Try placing your hands over your heart and whispering, "I return to myself." Feel the warmth under your hands. Feel the steady beat that has accompanied you through each stage of your life. That heartbeat is confirmation that you are whole, proof that you've never been alone. You have never been abandoned by your own soul. I've never been anything but complete. The remembering occurs gradually, one breath at a time. Allow this chapter to settle into your being, like a subtle truth being stated loudly. You don't have earned the right to exist, love, heal, or grow. You've always been enough, before the discomfort and during the growth. And now comes the moment of awakening. As you continue forward, remember that you are not fixing yourself. You're meeting yourself. You're reclaiming yourself. You're already whole. Chapter 20. Desire is divine. Each longing contains a divine spark. You sense a calm fire guiding you to the next expression of your spirit. Desire is not vanity. Desire is not greed. Desire provides guidance. It is the language your higher self employs to explain what you are destined to grow into. When you honor your wants rather than repress them, you begin to align with the life that your spirit has been softly beckoning you to. You may have been trained to fear your impulses, to suppress them, or to label them as selfish. However, the cosmos does not instill dreams in you without a cause. Each one represents a frequency, a direction, and a message. Desire reveals where your energy wants to flow next. When you disregard it, you weaken your own magnetic field. When you embrace it, you awaken the part of yourself that is capable of accepting it. Consider the dreams that persist despite your best efforts to silence them. They return to you because they are part of your pattern. They're weaved into your timeline, waiting for you to say yes. Desire persists because it is unrealistic. It disappears when you lose faith in the part of yourself that created it. And yet, even in silence, it waits patiently, ready to rise again, the moment you feel safe enough to seek more. Desire isn't always loud. It can manifest as a gentle pull toward a new path, a creative spark, a change in your environment, or a need for greater connection. Sometimes it feels like restlessness, as if your soul is pulling you toward a bigger picture. These aren't just random feelings. They are signs that your next chapter is beginning, urging you to pursue what feels alive rather than what feels familiar. There's a profound truth lurking beneath each desire. Expansion. Your soul desires to evolve not only spiritually, but also via experience, expression, creation, and embodiment. Denying your desires prevents you from evolving. When you allow yourself to desire more peace, depth, abundance, and love, you open the door for the cosmos to give the next stage of your evolution. Desire is the map, not the impediment. You may be afraid of wanting too much because of previous disappointments, but it does not mean your wishes were incorrect. They meant that your alliance was still forming. Desire frequently precedes readiness, prompting you to become the version of yourself capable of receiving. Allow the fear to subside. Let the shame go. Your desire does not ask you to prove anything. It is asking you to grow into your true self. Try speaking this softly into your inner world. What I want is sacred. Feel how the words affect your energy. Feel the permission that they create. Feel the way your chest opens. Just a bit more. When you accept your aspirations as heavenly, you make your existence significance. You stop apologizing for wanting and start accepting the intellect that drives your need. In that faith, manifestation acquires traction. Allow this chapter to penetrate deeply into your consciousness. Your passions are not just random cravings. These are soul-coded instructions. When you honor them, they show your future path, potential, and alignment. You respect the cosmos as it works through you. When you follow them, you enter timelines created specifically for you. Allow your aspirations to lead you. They're divine. They are purposeful. They're yours for a reason. Chapter 21. The Power of Surrender. There comes a point when holding on weighs more than letting go, when control depletes the spirit, and surrender becomes the only path that seems authentic. Surrender does not mean defeat. It represents the release of resistance. The softening of the heart allows life to finally meet you where you are. When you stop fighting what needs to change, you allow the cosmos to act in ways that your mind could never have predicted. You may have attempted to arrange every aspect, forcing outcomes, accelerating deadlines, and creating your world through sheer effort. However, you've discovered that exercising control frequently saps your energy, making life feel stiff and unresponsive. The more you grip, the more things slide between your fingers. Surrendering does not imply forsaking your desires. It entails allowing them to unfold without constraining them with expectations. It entails trusting the timing you cannot see yet. Remember when life startled you, not via force, but through flow. Opportunities came when you least expected them. After releasing the problem, a solution emerged. After you stopped following it, a link appeared. These were examples of surrender at work. The cosmos stepped in when you took a step back. Life does not thrive under pressure. It thrives in an open environment. Surrender allows higher insight to guide you, one that transcends a mind's restricted perspective. Your mind just sees pieces. Your spirit sees the entire scene. When you attempt to control every result, you restrict what can reach you. However, as you let go of your grip, you open up new possibilities. Suddenly, you become open for options that were previously unavailable due to your fixation on a set route. Your journey is infused with sacred intelligence. Even the detours serve a purpose. Even delays have meaning when you submit. You cease rejecting the teachings that have shaped you. You quit clinging to what has expired. You no longer demand answers early. You make room for clarity to find you rather than chasing it indefinitely. In surrender, the nervous system relaxes. Your intuition boosts your energy, realigns. You may be afraid of surrender since it requires you to trust without promises. Consider how many times life has held you even while you were doubting. You survived every uncertainty before this one. You walked through storms that you believed would destroy you, and yet you're here, listening, awakening, expanding. Surrender encourages you to remember that you are supported, even if you cannot see the hands that hold you. Try whispering these phrases softly into your chest. I let life unfurl for me while you breathe into them. Notice the softening that occurs. Notice how your body reacts to permission rather than coercion. Surrender isn't passive. It is responsive. It is a decision to work with rather than rule the cosmos. It is the willingness to believe that what is intended for you cannot be taken away. Allow this chapter to sink into your being like a gentle night breeze. You don't have to figure everything out. You do not need to push yourself into alignment. Take a step back. Breathe. Let the cosmos rearrange the bits you can't see. Surrender means not letting life happen to you. It is allowing life to pass through you. And when you yield, your road becomes smoother. Your energy clears, and the next door appears almost magically. Chapter 22. Daily Rituals. The findings were cosmic. The routines you repeat have a quiet power to them. A delicate alchemy weaved throughout the smallest details of your day. Rituals may appear routine, yet when done with intention, they can transform your inner reality. Conscious breathing, a moment of thanks, a few minutes of stillness. These cause ripples in your energy field. These ripples eventually turn into transformational waves. Tiny shifts create open portals. That effort alone cannot. You may believe that vast change necessitates grand action, but the universe responds more to constancy than intensity. A short morning practice of presence is more effective than an hour of forced meditation. A modest affirmation whispered daily has a greater influence than a single night of desperate prayer. Rituals balance your energy and make you a receptive vessel for guidance. They tune your frequency in the same manner that musicians tune their instruments before playing. Consider the routines you already carry. Your first breath after waking. The manner you position your feet on the floor. Unwanted thoughts. These are rituals too, but often unconscious. When you bring awareness to these situations, you recover your power. You begin each day by picking your frequency rather than inheriting it from the previous day's emotions. Intention transforms habit into ceremonial. Rituals also help your subconscious trust you. They establish a self-care routine that reflects your inner world. I'm safe. I'm grounded. I am present. When the subconscious feels safe, it is more willing to mend, rewiring and receiving new patterns. A daily routine serves as a link between your past and future selves. It is the anchor that holds your progress together. You might think you're just lighting a candle or taking a leisurely breath. However, these acts cause an overall shift in your field. A ritual sends a signal to the universe. I'm ready. I am listening. I'm in agreement. When you regularly return to yourself, your energy becomes clearer, calmer, and more magnetic. The cosmos interprets such clarity and responds, organizing events with increasing precision. Choose one simple ritual to start or end your day. Something basic yet intentional. Perhaps put your palm on your heart and say, I return to my center, or sit in stillness for a minute and notice your breath, or write one appreciation every night. The power does not come from the rite itself. The knowledge you bring to the situation is what changes timelines. Presence is the key to achieving cosmic results. These seemingly insignificant gestures add up. They rewire your responses. They improve your intuition. They help you recognize signs faster, trust yourself more profoundly, and overcome reluctance more easily. Life starts to feel less chaotic and more structured. You start approaching issues with insight rather than terror. This is a silent, gradual shift. Rituals alone are capable of creating. As you take in this chapter, allow the truth to settle gently within you. Change does not require force. It demands dedication. Rituals aren't chores. They serve as gateways. They help you align your inner world with the frequency of the life you want to create. Allow each modest exercise to create a thread that connects your destiny. What you do with intention every day shapes the architecture of your future. Chapter 23. Gratitude varies in frequency. When you focus on what is currently working in your life, a shift occurs. Gratitude is not just a feeling. It's an energetic expansion. It broadens your consciousness beyond scarcity and into plenty. When you practice thankfulness, even in little doses, your vibration raises. And as it does, your reality begins to reorganize to fit the frequency of appreciation instead of absence. You may have noticed how thankfulness softens the edges of a difficult situation, even a single thought. Thank you for the lesson. Thank you for the strength. Thank you for clarifying how heaviness can be transformed into something tolerable. Gratitude does not remove adversity, but it does alter perspective through which you experience it. It serves as a reminder that even during the darkest seasons, there are sparks of insight that guide you ahead. Consider how frequently your thoughts focus on what is missing. It's a natural human instinct honed over years of caution and upbringing. However, when shortage becomes your primary focus, your energy contracts, sending a signal of insufficiency. Gratitude disrupts this tendency by noticing even the tiniest blessings. You broaden your field. You start to radiate the frequency of fullness, creating additional encounters that mirror that richness back to you. Gratitude is not just about joy. It also thrives in challenging environments. When you express gratitude for the lessons, growth, and resilience gained from suffering, you regain your power. You move from victimhood to awareness. You stop seeing life as something that happens to you and instead perceive it as something that reacts to you. Gratitude is a link between reaction and alignment, fear and trust. Some blessings are hidden under discomfort. Some truths are revealed through loss. Some awakenings come with a sense of disorientation. Gratitude allows you to see the hidden architecture below these encounters. It reveals the reason for the delay, the wisdom in the detour, and the clarity emerging beneath the confusion. When you choose appreciation, you are choosing to see your life through the lens of possibilities rather than limitation. Try to think of anything you appreciate right now. Not something great, but something basic like a breath or a memory, a moment of calm, someone who crossed your path. Observe how your body reacts. Gratitude affects your nervous system. It encourages safety, presence, and openness. It brings your energy into coherence, making you more open to guidance, inspiration, and synchronicity. Gratitude gradually transforms into a magnetic force. It changes your views, influences your judgments, and unlocks doors you didn't think you deserved to enter. When you focus on your possessions, you naturally align with more. When you appreciate what exists, you make room for what could be. Gratitude is not an obligation. This is an activation. It rewires your inner environment, allowing you to easily receive abundance. As you reflect on this chapter, keep in mind that thankfulness is a frequency to embody, not a chore to fulfill. You transform your life every time you choose gratitude over fear. Presence triumphs over worry. Fullness triumphs over lack. Let appreciation be your compass. Allow it to shift your energy to the rhythm of abundance. When you cultivate thankfulness, the universe responds accordingly, providing additional reasons to whisper, "Thank you." Chapter 24. Purpose finds you when you're ready. A peaceful unfolding occurs beneath the surface of your life, long before you realize you're being prepped for something bigger. Purpose is not something you pursue. It emerges from your becoming. It patiently waits for your heart to open. Your wounds are dissolving, and your awareness has grown enough to recognize their core. When the inner soil is prepared, purpose emerges naturally, much like a seed remembering it can bloom. You may have spent years wondering, what is my purpose? Feeling lost or behind when others appear to be moving in a specific path. However, purpose does not reveal itself at a single moment. It communicates through curiosity, longing, and subtle tendencies that resurface time and again. It manifests itself in what motivates you, what makes you angry, what inspires you, what you can't ignore. The purpose does not refer to a specific job. It is a frequency that your soul connects with. Consider moments when you felt an unexplained draw towards something, a subject, a skill, a type of service, or a dream that felt alive inside you. That was not a random pull. It was a thread from your higher self directing you down the road meant for you. Even when you didn't follow it right away, it lingered close and waited. Purpose does not penalize you for taking time. It simply waits till you're in a position to completely receive it. Healing often gives rise to a sense of purpose. The wounds you've carried, the lessons you've learned, the fortitude you've cultivated. These become the core of your purpose because sorrow refines you rather than defines you. Your journey provides you with empathy, clarity, and depth. What once broke you becomes a doorway. You guide others through. Experience serves as a foundation for a purpose. There is also a misperception that purpose has to be large or spectacular in reality. Purpose frequently begins with little, quiet acts of compassion, moments of invention, the desire to assist one individual, the desire to express something worthwhile. These strands progressively weave together until you realize they've built a path. Purpose does not come with a declaration. It exposes itself through alignment. When you stop pressing answers, it becomes simpler to detect your genuine orientation and the pressure to figure it out. Clouds. Intuition. However, when you relax into your path, your energy clears, allowing purpose to reach you. It enters through inspiration, synchronicity, possibilities, and a sense of being drawn to something new. Purpose finds you when your heart is still enough to hear it. Try asking yourself what makes me feel alive right now, rather than what my mission is. Follow that aliveness. Follow whatever expands your breath, piques your interest, or awakens something ancient in your chest. Purpose is not a destination. It is a route of alignment that is being shown intuitively one step at a time. Each step builds upon the previous one. Each moment molds a clarity that will emerge as this chapter sinks into your consciousness. Trust that nothing in your timeline has been a mistake. You did not miss your calling. You've not slipped behind. Purpose arrives at divine, rather than human, timing. When it finds you, it will feel more like a reminder of something you've always known than a fresh discovery. You're closer to your goal than you realize. It is already on the way. Chapter 25. Everything works for you. There are times when life seems harsh, when challenges build up and the route ahead appears confusing or unfair. In those moments, it's tempting to assume the universe has abandoned you. However, underlying each problem is a deeper orchestration. Nothing about your experience is random. Every shift, delay, and ending contributes to a larger pattern that shapes you into the person you are now. Even when it appears that nothing is working in your favor, everything is. You may reflect on situations that once seemed catastrophic, only to learn they redirected you toward alignment. The job you didn't receive made room for the one that suited your needs. The individual who departed created space for genuine connection. The plan that failed released you from something too small for your growth. Life has been rearranging itself not to punish you, but to direct you. What appeared to be loss was often actually protection. Consider how many times you were denied what you thought you wanted, only to realize later why it wasn't aligned. The universe sees beyond your present perspective. It understands a chronology. You're still unable to recognize when things does not go as planned. It is because a better alignment is developing in the unseen. Trust does not mean ignoring difficulties. It is about realizing that a deeper intelligence is at work behind it. Every difficulty contains a lesson designed to help you progress. Some teach resilience. Some teach boundaries. Some promote self-love. Some teach surrender. When you stop wondering, why is this happening to me? 2. What is this preparing me for? Your entire relationship with life shifts. You cease seeing difficulties as enemies and instead perceive them as opportunities to advance to the next phase of evolution. Even in times of misunderstanding, the universe communicates. A delay could signify not yet. A detour may indicate that you should attempt another route. A closed door may indicate that there is something better. The goal is to understand these indicators with openness rather than resistance. When you trust the process, fear loses its grip. You start to feel guided instead of abandoned, encouraged instead of questioned, and directed rather than derailed. Synchronicity has shaped your life in subtle ways. Unexpected encounters, intuitive nudges, inner callings, unexpected changes. These strands have braided together to create a route that is uniquely yours. Even your hardships have had an impact. Refine your spirit, develop your intuition, and reinforce your boundaries. Nothing has been squandered. Not your tears, not your longing, not your setbacks. Everyone has contributed to who you are today. Try focusing your attention on a painful incident in your history and softly asking, what did this teach me? How did this change me? Observe how the responses increase. Observe how clarity emerges with distance. This demonstrates that life contains wisdom underlying each event. And if the past has meaning, then so does the present. Even if you can't see it yet, something is being altered to your advantage. As you assimilate this chapter, allow the truth to sink deeply into your spirit. You are not walking down an accident-prone path. You are on a path of alignment. Life isn't working against you. It is shaping, preparing, and positioning you for what resonates with your soul's vibration. Trust that what seems incomprehensible now will make sense later. Everything is working toward your development, expansion, and destiny. Always. Chapter 26. The Will to Begin Again. There will be times in your journey when life requires you to lay everything down. The strategies you devised, the identities you assumed, the chapters you have outgrown, and start again. Beginning anew does not imply failure. It's evidence of evolution. It signifies you've reached the end of an old timeline and are being welcomed into a new one. It takes guts to let go of what formerly supported you, but even more courage to believe that the rising will replace it. You may feel the weight of starting again and the uncertainty that comes with venturing into unfamiliar territory. Yet recall when you started again, before moments that seemed impossible, yet brought you somewhere worthwhile. You have rebuilt yourself several times without recognizing it. Every reinvention has honed your resilience. Every new beginning has sharpened your intuition. Beginning over is not a setback. It's a sacred reset. Think about how nature simply renews itself. Forests regenerate after fire. Rivers carve new routes following floods. Seasons shed their skin over and again. You, too, are part of this natural cycle. Your spirit understands how to overcome setbacks. Your energy understands how to regenerate. The bravery to start over is not about knowing what happens next. It's about believing that new life lies on the other side of freedom. Often, the initial step is the most difficult because it requires you to move without promise. The soul thrives on uncertainty, but the mind dreads it. Every step you take forward, no matter how slight the shift in frequency, sends a signal to the universe. I'm willing, and the cosmos answers with wisdom, synchronicity, and opportunities that were not visible before you decided to soar. Beginning afresh also entails letting go of the humiliation associated with previous attempts. You are not expected to get everything right the first time. Growth is achieved by trial and error, increased awareness, and recalibration. When you let go of the need to be perfect, you open up energy for exploration. You create space for creativity, inquiry, and clarity. The best aligned roads frequently arise after everything else has fallen away. There is beauty in the blank page of a new beginning. It contains limitless possibilities. It encourages you to reconsider what you want, who you are, and how you want to live. Instead of dreading the unknown, consider it unclaimed terrain shaped by your will. Beginning over allows you to build on your greatest wisdom rather than previous hurts. You begin with greater knowledge, strength, and self-awareness than ever before. Take a moment to place a palm on your heart. Inhale deeply and whisper inwardly, I am permitted to start over. Experience the relief that follows. Feel the softness. Feel the sense of permission spread across your chest. Every soul-level development starts with this moment of acceptance. This is the moment when you prioritize your growth over your fear, your future, your history and truth, and your reluctance. As the chapter settles into your energy, believe that each new beginning in your life has been divinely timed. You are not starting with nothing. You are starting with wisdom. You are beginning with strength. You're starting with a deeper version of yourself. Beginning over is not the conclusion of your tale. It marks the beginning of your next chapter. Chapter 27. Detaching from the outcome. There is freedom in the gap between desire and expectation. Most misery stems from clutching, grasping too firmly to how and when something should arrive. Detachment is not indifference. It is trust. It is the peaceful assurance that what is meant for you will come, even if it does not happen on your time frame or in the way you expected. When you release attachment, you also release resistance. And then resistance diminishes. Flow begins. You may have tried to force outcomes in the past, assuming that having control would ensure success. But the tighter you grasp, the more the outcomes slip through your fingers. This isn't failure. It is an energetic law. Clinging conveys a sense of anxiety, lack, and skepticism. In contrast, detachment conveys a sense of confidence. It means, I know something better is on the way. That quiet expectancy is magnetic. Consider moments when the best things came to you easily, when you let go, yielded, moved on, or simply stopped fretting. That energetic release produced a clear space for manifestation. The cosmos most easily meets you in spaciousness rather than obsession. It needs space to work. Your role is to maintain the vision with clarity. Let go of the timeline, technique, and outcome. That is the way to alignment. Detachment requires you to shift from needing to knowing. Need is a powerful emotion. It generates pressure, urgency, and tension. Knowledge is light. It conveys serenity, trust, and openness. You don't have to stop caring about your desires. You just cease expecting it to unfold in only one way. You cease focusing your attention on a single vision of the future. In that release, unlimited new pathways are made available. This does not imply that you take no action. Detachment is not currently an activity. It is empowered. surrender. You still move and prepare, still aligned. However, you do so without desperation. You do so from a grounded position. Knowing your worth is not based on outcomes. You travel toward your vision with your heart open, not clenched, and you remain open to unexpected surprises, upgrades, and redirections that your mind could not have predicted. Notice when your energy tightens around a desire. Are you experiencing anxiety, impatience, or discouragement? These are symptoms of attachment. Use them as an invitation to return to presence. Return to your breath. Remind yourself that detachment does not mean giving up. It is about rising above. It is about taking a step back and seeing the larger picture. To believe in the unfolding that your limited perspective cannot yet perceive. Try saying this softly. I trust what's happening. Even when I don't understand it, I can feel the reality of the words. Settle into your body. Observe how your nervous system reacts. Consider the modest growth that follows. This is the shift from control to faith. That is when your energy clears and your field regains its magnetic properties. As this chapter progresses, miracles become more easily accessible to you. Remember that the power to manifest does not come from obsession. It is in alignment. Allow your desires to breathe. Allow the universe to move. You're not here to chase results. You're here to exemplify truth. And when you do, the results come without force, without struggle, without distortion. In the space of detachment, you become a genuine creator, one who trusts, receives, and allows. Chapter 28. The cosmos operates through you. During your awakening, you will discover that you are not distinct from the intelligence that crafts your path. You are an extension of it, a vessel for the expression of guidance, creativity, intuition, and change. The universe doesn't just act around you. It acts through you, with every inspired idea and unexpected clarity. Every intuitive nudge is an example of this partnership. You are not alone in your journey to become. You may have believed that a divine force operates outside of you, observing from above or manipulating things behind the scenes. However, the truth is more intimate. The universe moves through your thoughts, emotions, desires, and gifts. When you follow what excites you, you align with the current. When you take a step toward healing, you enhance the signal. With each decision you make, you act as a conduit for greater energy, shaping reality. Consider the moments when a sudden inner understanding led you to the right decision, or when you said words that seemed to come from a deeper source, or when you felt compelled to aid someone without knowing why. These events were not coincidental. These were transmissions. They were the universe, using your voice, hands, and presence to promote global expansion. You were moved by something bigger than yourself. When you suppress your intuition, neglect your impulses, or diminish your truth, the link weakens. Not because the world retreats, but because your energy is clogged with doubt and fear. However, by clearing space within yourself through presence, alignment, and quiet, you can become a crystal channel. Guidance flows more easily. Inspiration comes more easily. Life responds to your openness with synchrony. You were not born to simply observe the world. You were born to collaborate with it. Your unique frequency affects everything around you, including the people you encounter, the opportunities you attract, and the healing you inspire just by being in alignment. Even your presence in a room affects its vitality. You carry a field that interacts with the fields of others, causing minor yet significant waves. Never underestimate your impact. Consider the idea that your gifts, passions, and abilities are not coincidental. They are instruments that the universe has placed within you for a purpose. What feels natural to you is usually your soul's duty. What excites you is usually the next step. What comes through you is often intended for someone else as well as yourself. You're a channel, not a container. What flows in is supposed to flow out. Take a calm breath and imagine a light moving up your spine. Steady, intelligent. This is how you link to the hidden field. Place one hand on your heart and whisper, I am guided. I'm a vessel. Take note of the stillness that follows. Take notice of the shift. This reality has always been there. You do not create alone. The cosmos is co-authoring your story with each moment of alignment. As this chapter sinks in, accept that you are not waiting for magic. You are part of the magic. Your intuition represents global intelligence. Your desire propels universal energy forward. Your healing represents universal expansion. The universe works through you because you are capable, open, and committed to your path. Walk with that knowledge now. Everything you touch has a potential to become a light entry point. Chapter 29. Forgiveness means freedom. When we carry previous pain, we experience a silent gravity that persists. Unforgiveness connects us to the feeling rather than the event itself. We were never allowed to move through. It becomes a loop, repeating silently, impacting our energy and limiting our ability to receive forgiveness. This is not about condoning what has wounded you. It is about breaking the emotional bond that keeps you bound to the wound. You may have thought that forgiveness is something you give to others, but in reality, it is something you give yourself. It is the moment when you resolve that past wrongs will no longer govern your future alignment. You do not forgive someone because they deserve it. You forgive because you are ready to live freely, to regain the pieces of yourself that have been kept hostage by the memory. Consider the amount of energy required to relive the events that broke you. The replaying and retelling, the guarding. Every time you return to the agony without letting go, you give it your power. But when you decide to forgive, you swap timelines not because it's easy, but because it feels liberating. You open a healing channel, allowing you to finally go forward rather than circle what was never yours to hold forever. Forgiveness does not equal forgetting. It entails recalling information in a different way. It entails choosing to see the pain as a part of your initiation rather than your identity. You still respect your emotions. You still acknowledge the reality, but you want to let the story unfold. You choose to stop bleeding from a wound you've already healed. You take on the role of healer instead of hostage, and spectator instead of prisoner. Sometimes the most important person to forgive is yourself for what you didn't know, what you permitted, the limits you didn't set, and the versions of you that were still learning, still terrified, still searching for love in places that couldn't provide it. Give that version of yourself grace. Now, whisper to them that you understand. I forgive you. We're free now. Feel the release begin. Forgiveness softens the body. It calms the nervous system. It restores calm to places where there has previously only been defense. You don't need an apology to let go. You don't need someone else to give you closure. You can accomplish it for yourself. Forgiveness isn't a trade. It's a reclaiming. It is how you wrap up chapters that never got a suitable finale. It is how you terminate long-expired energy agreements. Try this gently. Bring to memory someone or a part of yourself. You are now ready to release. See them standing in front of you. Breathe deeply and say, I am releasing you from my field. I set myself free. Feel the weight. Lift. Feel the center. Dissolve. Feel your energy. Return home to you. This is not imagination. It's energetic hygiene. As this chapter settles within you, you make room for your future to enter without distortion. Know this fact completely. Forgiveness is not about who has wounded you. It is about who you are prepared to become. It is the act of prioritizing liberty over looping, growth over bitterness, and insight over anger. Let this be the moment when you decide to be free, free of the tail. I am free from the anguish. You're free to walk forward, lighter, open, whole. The future need all of you. Unbound. Chapter 30. Your future is listening. Every thought you project, every emotion you cultivate, every intention you have, becomes a silent communication transmitted into the sphere of potential that surrounds you. The future is not established. It replies. It senses your energy long before it manifests itself as an experience. The frequency you are experiencing right now shapes your future self. When you understand this, you can start speaking to your future with clarity, power, and purpose. You may not realize how frequently you unconsciously script your future out of fear or doubt. I have thoughts that will never work out for me, or that I am not ready now, are not simply beliefs. These are instructions. The universe takes them as cues. However, when you change your inner dialogue to something positive is on the way, or I am stepping into alignment, the future rearranges itself to fit that upward progress. You become the author, not the echo. Consider a time when you felt a quiet certainty, a gentle understanding that something was meant for you. That feeling did not come from my imagination. It was resonance. It was your future self calling you back. Intuition, dreams, synchronicities, and inner nudges all serve as signaling mechanisms. The timeline that reflects your ultimate truth is constantly communicating. You can hear it whenever you feel expansion. You hear it whenever something feels like fate. Your future responds best when your energy is consistent, not perfect, steady. When you maintain an inner level of trust, clarity, and openness. When you behave in accordance with what you seek, you communicate to the universe that you're open to receiving. Even in small ways, you deepen the link between where you are and where you want to go. Every aligned action functions as a bridge. Every aligned belief is a magnet. This does not imply imposing positive. The future values authenticity over performance. If you have fear, acknowledge it. If you have any doubts, witness them. However, instead of focusing on where you've been, adopt a belief that coincides with where you want to go. Every time you choose expansion over constriction, your future shifts. Each time you choose hope over doubt, a new path appears. The cosmos responds to your inner adjustments. Imagine your future self standing a few steps ahead. Calm, grounded, fulfilled. Ask them quietly, what are you asking me to believe right now? Take note of the first feeling that arises. Notice how it softens something within you. This is not fantasy. This is communication across timelines. You already own the future, but you have yet to embody the insight. They respond when you listen. When you speak to the future with intention via imagination, affirmation, and inspired action, you aren't sending out empty wishes. You are tuning to an already available frequency. You encounter a version of yourself who has already gone through the experience you are about to have. Your future is not a puzzle to unravel. It is a vibration that must be matched as this chapter is integrated into your awareness. Hold this truth gently but firmly. Your future is not waiting passively. It is listening. It's taking shape. It's responding. Each aligned thinking brings it closer. Each aligned emotion enhances it. Every aligned action manifests it. You are in discussion with what is to come. Speak with intention. Move with purpose, knowing that the future you want is already leaning toward you. Chapter 31. You are the sign. Every seeker comes to the realization that they are the message, proof, and sign at some point in their journey. You are not awaiting authorization. You're not looking for validation from the sky. The fact that you're here, listening, awakening, and experiencing a pull towards something deeper, that's the evidence. That's the activation. You're not lost. You are the brightness you were expecting to find. You might have looked for indications in numbers, dreams, symbols, or remarks from strangers. And sure, they are real. However, the most strong validation of your path comes from your own awareness, the change in how you think, the enlargement of your feelings, a desire for something more truthful. These aren't coincidences. These are soul signals, internal alignments that direct you to the next stage of your progress. Consider the energy required to examine your life, break old routines, and venture into the unknown. That courage is a sign. That decision is a sign. You are already vibrating at a different frequency than before, and the cosmos has noticed. Timelines are moving as a result of your decision to perceive things more clearly. You didn't have to stumble upon this book. It located you because your frequency corresponded to its call. You are the gateway through which new patterns emerge. Your recovery has an impact on others. Your clarity lifts others. The changes you make in quiet have ripples that affect everything around you. When you rise, you accelerate timelines. When you remember who you are, you also help others remember. Here's how energy works. It spreads. It multiplies. You are more powerful than you have been made to believe. Many people wait for the perfect moment, allowed to sign a thunderbolt of knowledge. However, the sacred frequently manifests as a voice or feeling in your chest, a statement that sticks with you, a draw that defies logic but seems true. You can trust that. Trust the little nudges. Trust that you are already in action. You don't need any more proof. You need to be more present. You must acknowledge yourself as evidence of awakening. Try standing motionless, breathing deeply and speaking gently. I am the sign that I was looking for. Feel the alterations in your field when you pronounce those words. Feel the power. Return. Feel the remembrance. When you cease outsourcing guidance, turn inward. Everything becomes evident. You're not missing the signal. You're the signal. You represent a message that your future self has already conveyed. Each insight you've had, each page you've turned, every tear you have shed, every boundary you've set indicates your readiness. The universe speaks to you through your intuition, breakthroughs, and quiet resolves to do things differently. Stop doubting what has been confirmed 100 times. You are the indicator that the time has come. You are the embodiment of alignment in motion. Allow this chapter to anchor in you like a mirror. Finally, it is evident that you are not hoping for change. You're becoming it. You're not asking for a path. You're walking it. You are not waiting for a confirmation. It has already arrived in the shape of your own voice, knowledge, and energy. You are the sign, and your life will now unfold in harmony with the one who remembers. Chapter 32. The trip has just started. Not all endings are exits. Some serve as disguised entrances. What you believe was the end is now an initiation. This chapter, this moment, this version of yourself. It represents a threshold. The air feels different here because you venture beyond the familiar. You are not the same person you were before this started. Despite this, you are finally becoming closer to who you always were. You wandered to the buried hallways of your own awareness. You remembered unspoken facts. You shattered the illusions that formerly characterized you. What is emerging now is not a new identity, but a clearer frequency. The book did not change you. It reflected you. It revealed the codes concealed within your own soul's blueprint. You reawaken what was already dormant within. And though the speech may come to an end, the wisdom continues to resound. In the pause between your thoughts, in the alignment of your decisions in the field surrounding your body, which now speaks a different language. Do not rush to figure out the next move. Instead, let the following step recognize the new you. When your vibration changes, your life adjusts to match. The universe is not complete. It has only just begun to dance with your memory. It will now communicate more clearly, quickly, and directly. You will see signs where there was noise. You will perceive guidance where there was perplexity. The path is not a straight road. This is a spiral staircase. With each turn, you ascend into your own holy memory. Take a deep breath and focus on your future. Not the one you wish for out of fear, but the one you now accept because of alignment. It is formed through surrender rather than control. You finish the process of remembering. Trust what happens. Keep the rituals. Keep the truth. Maintain the suppleness. But let go of the old urgency. You are already where you are supposed to be if uncertainty returns. Return to these pages, to this vitality, to the knowledgeable version of yourself. Repetition is not failure, it is refinement. You circle back, not to start over, but to deepen what you started. Growth is not linear. Awakening isn't a destination. The trip continues. Each time, you choose presence over performance. Allow others to find you by the light you now carry. Let your calm speak louder than your explanation. You will not have to prove your metamorphosis. The frequency you choose will speak first. Your energy will introduce you, and people who are destined to be with you will feel it. You are now a live representation of the truth you have reclaimed. So, as the final words seep into your soul, allow them to be a blessing rather than a goodbye. Move forward not as a seeker, but as a signal. Allow the way to emerge beneath your trust. Let the secret remain sacrosanct. And remember, this was never the end. This was the door. You never waited for the journey. You are the journey. Finally remembered, you've walked this path. These pages were never about becoming someone else. It was about remembering. Remembering the codes that you were born with. Remember, you were always the one. You've been looking for miracles. You have prayed for clarity. You pleaded for the signals to appear. They were hidden within the silence of your being. You did not come here to get fixed. You came here to be unveiled and are now revealed. Yes, you are. Take a deep breath and embrace the present moment. Feel how different you are, not because the world changed, but because you rediscover your power within it. Allow this close to serve as a holy return rather than an end. The return of your knowledge. Return to your usual frequency. The return to the part of you that no longer chases, but rather magnetizes. Now walk with trust. Speak with a vibration. Live as the manifestation of the field to which you have attuned. You're no longer becoming. You are being. If this voyage awakened something ancient within you, if it cracked anything open or softly healed a painful area, leave a comment indicating what you recall. Speak the hallowed words. I am the frequency that the cosmos reacts to. Allow them to resonate throughout the collective. Allow others to experience your light and find their way home. If your soul calls, subscribe. More to come. The trip continues. You're ready. You are in agreement. You're remembered.